Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, this is Joycelyn Linton here. Welcome to the show, coming into the higher calling, and those are on blogtalkradio.com, coming into the higher calling. This is the word on the rise of Israel, Judah, and the word. And those who are listening through Speaker, www.speaker.com/Joycelyn Linton's track. Welcome. And I hope that we're going to have a good time this evening. This is the British Standard Time, because I haven't really planned what I'm going to say. And the reason being is each time I spend time preparing the notes and what I'm going to say, I find that it takes a different twist. It's like this, somebody else steps in on me and takes the conversation in a completely different direction. So I've decided I'm going to leave it open and see what's going to be said. I did try to think, well, how am I going to start it off? I must have a starting word, but we'll see. So I invite you all to come. It's also a recording, so and it's going to be there all the time. So, but those of you, I'm calling upon all my Facebook friends and my Google friends. I'm calling you in the spirit, each of you, each and every one of you. I'm calling my guardian angels to greet all your guardian angels and to come along and to join in, participate. I've got the chat room going in. I've got the chat room going in either. I've got the chat room in the speaker studio, speaker.com/Joycelyn Linton's tracks, and I've got this chat room on Blog Talk Radio. I've also got a call-in line for anybody who wants a prophecy, and the call-in line is, the guest call-in is for the America, it's 1-215-383-3963. And I haven't got a call-in line for the other countries. But if you want to use the American number, it's 1-215-383-3963. So, join in and see how the evening can unfold. I'm hoping it will be good. I'm hoping that the Lord is really going to entice us here, because I didn't really plan. But yesterday afternoon, I heard in my spirit podcast for the afternoon. Okay. And I have to apologize because I didn't podcast for the afternoon, and I've done it today instead. And reason being, I'm putting together a program for people with cancer. I've worked in cancer, and as I said, I started my training in 1989, and I think we started probably September, October time. And by the third day, thank you, guests. Welcome to my guest that has just logged in. Hopefully, I'll see more guests coming in. So I started the training, and I have a caller online. That's good. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Yeah, question mark. Okay. So so I started my training in radiotherapy. That's treatment of cancer, in around about September, October 1989. And at the time, I didn't know anything about cancer. I really didn't know. I wanted to do the diagnostic side, X-ray, when I was at school. But I delayed it, and then eventually I came back to it. And at the time of researching, then the cancer came up. And in my spirit, I questioned, and my little niece said, "Look after the cancer patients. That would be nice to take care of these people." So I said, okay then. And so I applied for the radiotherapy one. And we started the Monday, and by the Wednesday, I figured out cancer. I figured out the cause of cancer. And there was a couple of helpful people too. I remember there was a lady who read a book by Bernie Siegel, Love, Fear, and Healing. And so I bought the book on the weekend, and that just really concluded the whole of cancer for me. So today I I wonder, why is cancer such a mystery to people? Why is it such a mystery? And you say, well, why are you saying why is it such a mystery if you always knew the answer? Because the society is not ready. They're not ready to hear. Each time I try to bring it forward, there is some resistance. And can I tell you, I've been getting some invisible resistance, because I've been wanting to write a book on healing, and I've done the studies. I've gone through. I've spent time at the universities. I've spent time in the libraries. I've gathered the notes. I've studied the various parts of the body, and there's a lot that I can write and a lot that I can tell, and I really cannot fathom out why people are finding it a mystery. But you know what? I think on the whole most people do have the answers inside them, because I do say to the patients, you know, if you give yourself a week, ask yourself the question, and then give yourself a week to come up with the answer, and the answer lies there. And I'm sure that the answer do lie here. Now I've got 2 callers in. I'm not sure if they're lurking, but I'm going to greet them. I'm going to greet the callers here and see, just to say hi to them. So I've got caller here 206-486. Hi, good evening, caller. It's evening time for me here in the UK. How are you doing?
Oh, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Okay.
I was just,
yes?
I was really wondering, because you were talking about the healing with cancer.
Yes.
Have you ever seen anybody actually get healed through, like self-healing? Have you?
Oh yes, that's what I'm about. I've actually healed. I mean, not I have. The Lord has. I had and it's got me, and it's meant that I've been out of the depression now. There was a patient who had end-stage gallbladder, and I was doing some scans, and I couldn't see her organs well, and I remember determined to see everything really well, and I began to pray, as I'm always praying. I'm not only in my heart. I don't share these things to anybody. Now that I'm out of the profession, I can share it. But at the time, in my mind, I was saying, "Oh Lord, I really want to see this liver." I forgot that the lady had a condition on her. All I knew is I wanted a perfect image, so I just kept on scanning and scanning until the image was perfect. And she went upstairs, and then they frowned and they said, "It's not the same. They can't find they can't find the pathology that she had. What's happened? The images has changed, and what's happened?" And then
Wow.
I got to realize, because at that time the Lord was calling me strongly. He was like saying, "Stop ignoring me. I am calling you now." And
You actually talked to God yourself?
yeah, I hear him, and he hears me, and yes, ever since I was a child, I've always known myself to do so.
Wow.
I don't know any different. I don't know. That's how I've always been speaking and hearing the Lord.
And God, when you pray to Him for these people that have cancer, how long does it usually take does He just like heal them right there?
How can I say? Because I have to hear the results after that. I on the sideline, I hear little things that come to me. So, for instance, now, and I'm glad, sir, I really thank you, because I've kind of held it inside me, and I've never had the opportunity to speak on it, because no one wants to allow me to speak on it. So, you're causing me to start to go into an area that I really talk to with anyone. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad. I want to talk about it, because I spent the whole day. I was up early this morning trying to write my cancer healing project, and I want to.
But you still believe people should go through
Oh
medical
yes.
treatment too,
Oh
as
yes.
well with prayer?
Yes. Oh yes. Because each person is different. So to answer your question here on healing, does the Lord actually heal? He can heal straight away, but where we are right now on the earth, the Lord won't go against our will. He has given us a will, and I did a study on it a few days ago. The Lord has given us a will that we should return his love to him, and that's a write-up that with Augustus that had written that. So he's given us a will to return his love, so he will not force himself or his love upon us. Okay. And this week, when I was reading up on it in Jeremiah 23 and 22, and I realized that we have a willpower, and that's who Jeremiah is speaking to in the people of Israel. That's in chapter 2. What we can do is pray to the Lord.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, to increase our...
sorry for interrupting.
Sorry, that's okay. We can pray to the Lord to strengthen the willpower in us. Okay? So right now, if we have an ailment like cancer, yes, it's possible to be healed straight away, and I have seen it. I have seen patients where I trained, where there was 2 patients came in with the same type of cancer to the throat. One had like the end stage 4, which you'd call, quite engrossed, and another had stage 2, which is the early stage, where it's just really localized. And I've seen them change places over a space of time, because the one who had it engrossed, when his sons learnt that their dad had end-stage cancer, they just like panicked, and they began to, he had to stay in the hospital because these people were coming from far out of England, out in the rural parts of England, so they would stay over for the week and go home on the weekend. So they made particular trips up to their dad, and they would take him out for brunch, give him good treats. They just kept on treating their dad so good that his end-stage cancer went right through to early stage, to minimum. It reduced. And the patient who had the early stage, he was there in the hospital alone. Nobody really came to see him. Nobody chirped him up. And his cancer just grew and grew and grew. So they changed places. I've seen one, I was there when the doctor said to the patient, "You've only got like a year to live." And the patient got upset, not cried, but he told off the doctor, okay, and whoever else was around. And he went and sold up his stuff, and he did a year of going around the world and making the most of his life. And then he lived. He didn't die. He came back and told the doctor off. He said, "You made me sell my house. You made me spend off my money. And I went touring around the world, and I'm still alive." And the doctor said, "Well, congratulations."
Wow.
So I really learned a lot about cancer, and you see a trend.
I just appreciate you sharing that.
Oh yeah, you see a trend. You do. Okay, the call has dropped. Both calls has dropped. So if you want to call back, but you see a trend when you work with the patients. You can see a familiar pattern that goes on, and it just really surprises me that they make cancer so bleak. And I can talk about it with ease because it is a message that I should have brought forward. In 2000, the Lord said to me to teach the world. My 2 callers has dropped. You're always welcome to call back in. He said to me to tell the world the importance of being positive. Okay, and at the time, the Lord was downloading a lot of psychology into my mind, and I do have the writings there. And but the Lord is asking me now of recently. I had a real vision about a year ago, and He showed me precisely what He wants me to learn in the human body, to pass it on to the people. And so round about between the 2004 and I was writing essays on Genesis 1, coming back into the original hand of God. That's where we're coming back into the original intent of God. And I just went through a period of looking at the origin of everything and anything. The origin of language, the origin of numbers, the origin of music, the origin of different types of music. I just had a series